This month's video is a follow-up to last month's, link up top, where I show you the creations for and reactions from Paul Dini, Dan Riba, and Kevin Altieri from this year's Planet Comic Con. I went with this because I'm still awaiting word on all of my lost footage, and because it's the perfect sequel rather than making you wait. If you'll remember at the end of my previous video, I was going to give Kevin Altieri the Arcady Duval figure that I made for him, and here is his wonderful reaction to that.
I think you can already tell where it might be.
Oh, shit. That's amazing.
Because you were on DCAU review and mentioned that this is one of your favorite designs.
Oh, yeah, it is.
So I was like, I'm going to make it. I was wondering, though, if it was the swashbuckling look or this one.
Well, they're both legit.
Yeah.
The swashbuckling is just him stripping down.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, I make all kinds of things with the DC Collectibles line.
That's amazing.
Any of those.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan.
Whoa! Holy moly! Hey, weren't you just talking about that in the past?
Yeah, I think I was.
Really?
Wow, that's amazing. I get to keep this? Wow. Thank you, man. That's awesome.
Pretty awesome, huh? In giving him the figure, I found out that he still doesn't have Jonah Hex. Can you believe that? The one collector on the planet who deserves one and is the director of the episode. From Kevin's Arcady, let's see who I made for Paul Dini. Harley was the natural choice for Paul, and I read online that his favorite scene of hers is the fake cop scene where she brings the cake in with Joker inside. A little bonus for Paul, since Zatanna is one of his favorite characters, her figure will make the perfect base. The head will simply be an unmasked Harley from the Expressions pack, and her skirt will be made from a craft foam sheet, as I did for Dr. Harleen, linked above. Alright, let's get started on her modifications. Zatanna's base is pretty perfect with long sleeves and cuffs and obvious bare legs and heels. She'll just need that jacket dremeled off of her torso and the tails of the jacket disc dremeled off. While that disc is out, I'll cut her ponytails off and then switch tips to lightly dremel her face a little bit. That's all of the subtractions she'll need done. Now let's look at her epoxy additions. I'll start with covering her torso where I dremeled to smooth out for the front of her shirt. As that dries, I'll move up to her head and start on the hat. Back down to her torso, I'll shape the tie knot and beginning of the tie. Up to the hat, we can add the brim. Back down to the shirt, I'll add the collar over her tie. The hat will need a badge, as will her shirt, and the tie will need an extension made of green stuff. I wanted to keep it flexible so that it would be loose and separate from her shirt to kind of hang more naturally. Her skirt will be one of the last things I do, so we'll look at that after painting her. She was pretty simple in the modifications category, and painting will be too. A couple of blues, some skin and lips, and a black and yellow will be it. I'll start with her blue shirt and give that a few layers. Add in her black tie and gold badge, then come up to her head. So I originally sculpted some lips on her face to form her big grin, but they were pretty big and I ended up removing the sides by the end. You can sculpt them on if you'd like, but I think painting them would work just fine too. Anyway, get her gold hair in, the same as her badges, and then her blue eyes to match her shirt. Black details on her face, and then the blue hat with the black rim. That takes us to her skirt. If you're familiar with my work, you may remember that I've already made a Harley Quinn in a skirt, but that was her Arkham Asylum doctor's look from Mad Love. In that video, I made her skirt out of craft foam, and I opted to do the same here. Rubber may work, but I found the foam to be a little more forgiving and flexible. As with all of my clothing recreations, I like to use a sewing pattern to get an idea of how the garment is actually made, and then make an attempt starting with a piece of paper. I make paper prototypes so that I don't waste the more expensive rubber or foam final materials. I made a couple versions with some minor revisions and then was ready to trace it onto the foam. Cut that out and glue it all the way around. You'll notice that some of it is sticking out, but thanks to a mistake I made when making a different figure's cape out of foam once, I discovered that this material will shrink pretty easily under a heat gun. I'm glad I discovered that trick because that's exactly what I need to happen, and we'll give it a try. Yep, it's doing just what we needed it to do. Nice. That's much better. Alright, there she is. Let's see the big moment with Paul now and what he thought of her.
Well, I am here at the Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City. I'm meeting a sculptor, and he brought a special DC custom for me, and I have no idea what it is. So we're going to unbox it, and we're all going to be surprised together. Surprised and delighted, because I know I'll be delighted, I'm sure. So we open it up, and oh my goodness. It's fake cop Harley from Joker's Favor as the fake policewoman who brings in Charlie Collins and chains them up. And, brings in the cake. She can't bring it in herself, man. Look at the size of that cake. That's wonderful. Awesome. So it's Zatanna transformed into fake cop Harley. I love that. That is awesome. Yeah. Love it. So I'm going to wrap her back up so she does not get down. Are you sure? Can I pay it, please? All right.
Just a thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Wasn't that great that he treated it like an actual unboxing and then quoted the lines from the show? He couldn't have been a nicer guy, and I never imagined I'd be able to meet him. From director to writer and back to another director. Who did I make for Dan Riba? I actually asked him the year before who he might want me to make for him, and I was pleasantly and not at all surprised that he had forgotten who he requested. BTAS Baby Doll. For her recipe, it's pretty simple. I'll use the TNBA baby doll that came with Croc. Alright, let's see how we can reverse engineer her to get her to her classic original design. A couple of major design differences we can see right off are that she had more hair, big bows in it, and was overall a little bit taller in BTAS. I'll start by heating up and removing her pigtails and then her main hairpiece. Her feet are much bigger and her legs need to get longer, so I'll Dremel the TNBA shoes off. Dremel off her buttons and collar on the dress. Dremel her mouth down smooth, and then we can start on sculpting. Mix up some epoxy and start by lengthening her legs. Let that cure and come up to her head to rebuild her main hair. If you're careful, you can add on the necessary eyebrow shapes while that hair begins curing too. Back down to her body and we can add one foot. If you have trouble with figures standing, especially ones with big noggins like Miss Doll here, might I recommend a neodymium magnet in a foot? I ended up using one of my Dremel discs for her base, and it's a nice little support for her now. I may even add a magnet into my TNBA figure of her too. Anyway, once the magnet is in and the hair and face from before have cured, you can add her sideburns and bangs with epoxy. After all of that is dried, I'll sketch on her face to get an idea of what she might look like. Oh yeah, I really like that look. Reduce any leg thickness with your Dremel if needed, and then do the same with her head. Her collar shape is a little different and smaller, so I'll redo that entirely, and then I needed to redo her bangs as I didn't do them right the first time. Now we can add her signature curls. Start with the middle one on either side by rolling a tube, squishing one end just a bit, and then smearing that end into place. After those have cured, add two more in the same manner. She'll need some new buttons on her dress, and then we can add the final hair curls. As with her bangs, I needed to do a retake on her shoes, and then I started sculpting her ragdoll weapon of choice. In order to make it fit, yet still be removable, I'll add a little green stuff around her hand first, and then sculpt the epoxy on top of that. Just kind of add little bits in the right shapes on top of the doll until he looks right. Her head needs one final touch in the form of her hair bows. I've made her twice now, and the first time I used green stuff for these, and the second was epoxy, so either method will work. Put any final sculpting touches onto the doll, and then Dremel down any hair if needed before moving on to painting. Mary Louise has a very simple yet memorable color scheme. 2 shades of purple on her dress, black and white shoes and socks, and those trademark golden locks. I'll start with the skin color on her head, arms, and legs. Next, her golden hair and purple bows. Then the whites of her eyes and socks, followed by her blue irises, black pupils, and black shoes. Her ragdoll needs a lighter color for its skin, red shirt and shoes, and light blue overalls. The final thing will be to bring her to life using this paint pen on her face and swirls on the bottom of her curls. And there she is. Very nice. I'm really happy with her, but let's see what Dan thought.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I get to open it.
Oh yeah. That's the mailer, so it gets home safely. But
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, she's
so she is. Yeah, I put a magnet in her foot because there's no way she stands with that giant head.
Right. That's extraordinary.
She will stand. The puppet does come off, but best to probably leave.
Look, coincidentally.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Check this out. This gentleman just made.
Nicely done.
Very nice. Wow. I'm touched. This is beautiful. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, so
He loved it. The way he said he was really touched was just that extra special compliment that couldn't have been better. It's pretty cool to think that 3 of the show's big creators now own my work. I'm so happy I could do that as a simple thank you for the endless entertainment and joy they've provided me. And that's a wrap on today's episode. Next month is a big anniversary for the biggest of Superman's villains. The JLU series finale turns 20 years old next month, so you can bet I'll be making the Darkseid redesign from that episode. Follow me on Instagram if you want to see the finished custom before this video goes up. For the second look next month, Superman the Animated Series also has an anniversary this year, so I thought I'd pair Darkseid with another design from the New Gods in that show. And Lightray will be my choice. Bet you didn't think I'd be making him. Thanks for watching today, and go explore my catalog of shorts and videos after this. My Instagram link is in the description if you want to see even more customs and some neat photos of them. Feel free to like and subscribe to get notified for everything, and then hit the hype button down below if you'd like to help me grow. Have a good one, and happy customizing.